Hi, I'm Anna from Astralladytarot in Amsterdam. Welcome to my channel. I am getting sick of looking at my face all the time, and so even though this is actually a harder setup for me to do and to make videos than to simply sit down and have the video point at my face, this is the way that I've chosen to do it this time around. I am talking about, which you can see in the title, about a method that I have thought of actually yesterday. It's about using the Rider-Waite Smith cards to make spreads. So basically, if you were to make one spread from each card, you would have 78 spreads right then and there. Isn't that cool? While editing that video, I realized, silly me, that I've actually showed some examples with cards that are in any deck. I used a court card, the Page of Swords, and I used the Death card, or Arcanum number 13, which is a major. After that, I also showed the Nine of Swords, but I didn't take it further than 2 questions that I got out of that. So I thought, let's make a second video about this topic with a little bit more examples, and I can show you some spreads that I'm making right now in this moment using the Rider-Waite Smith deck. I'm using my Centennial version, which is my favorite Rider-Waite Smith, but also I am using Rider-Waite Smith based decks, and you will see why I feel it works best with the Rider-Waite Smith system. Now, I explained this, of course, and it's obvious for people who know tarot why this method works best with the Rider-Waite Smith, with Rider-Waite Smith based decks. It's obvious. You see here, let me show you a couple of number cards. Yeah, got this one yesterday. And here we go. There, a few number cards. Obviously in Marseille or Thoth or any pip deck, there isn't a scene depicted. We all know this. So that's why I think it works best with decks like these, because you get a lot of symbolism. I'm not saying that in the Marseille, for instance, there is less symbolism. Absolutely not. But I'm just saying that, for instance, here there's a bridge. You wouldn't see that in a Marseille or in a pip deck usually, right? It's a bridge. So what does a bridge mean to you? What symbol can you get out of that? And what question can you make from it? It's as simple as that. Again, disclaimer, I believe I cannot possibly be the first person in the world to have come up with this way of creating tarot spreads. But I have Googled it and I haven't actually found it, so I'm sharing one more video about this method. Yes, well, let's actually start with the Five of Cups, because I got that card yesterday. Great. Five of Cups. Okay. Then I have a piece of paper and a pen. I'm writing down 5 cups spread. So, what am I seeing in this card? A black cloak. Yeah, I hope you can read that. Gray sky. A house or castle. I think house. Then I see some trees. I see a river. I see green fluids and red fluids. I see a bridge. And what else? Of course, his back is turned towards us. Maybe that's it. I actually did path working with this card because that's the one I got yesterday. I just figured I was, a little bit down and I got this card. And I actually saw these 2 cups as trophies. So that actually made me feel better. And I actually turned around, picked up the trophies, one in each hand, or actually the cups. But, in my mind at that moment, they were trophies. I walked over there, crossed the bridge, went into my house, and placed both of the trophies on top of the where the fire is. And it was actually quite symbolic that it was actually quite fitting that the cups that are standing were 2 cups, one for me and one for my mom. It was about something that we were planning on doing at the end of this month, and it won't be happening. And actually, I'm kind of bummed about that. But yeah, it was just a little moment for me alone with this card to make peace with that. So it did feel good, because obviously we can see the person here is looking down at these cups, at what is spilled, but these cups are still standing. And even though in my pathworking session these cups were not filled, they looked like trophies, and that's what they were, and they looked great on that, what's it called, is it the mantelpiece? Anyway, where the fire is burning, and I'm keeping them there until a later time. Okay, let's get back to the 5 of Cups spread. I'm stopping here. This is enough symbolism for now. So the black cloak, to me, that really reminds me of, has anyone seen the cult movie The Crow? Isn't this exactly like that? There's a line that is said in that movie a couple of times. It can't rain all the time. And that is just my pop culture reference association to this card, with this card. It can't rain all the time. So a question I can ask, a question I can make out of that is, for instance, where in my life am I not seeing the positive? Where am I blind to positive? That is really just an example, right? Everything in this video is an example. Gray sky. Oh, well, that kind of ties in. Gray sky would mean that there are clouds in front of the sun, right? So many clouds, a little bit darker weather. And so where am I blind to positive energy? How can I incorporate more positivity? Because I'm thinking about the sun in this case. Then there's a house. I've made this into a house. I don't know if it's a house or a castle, but yesterday in my vision, in my pathworking session, it was actually a house. So, house. Where in my life can I be more focused on feeling at home and comfortable? See how these two ties in with each other? Then I have another one for you. So here, house, where can I be more focused on feeling at home? And trees is about my roots, something like that. Something that means, how can maybe that's simply it. How can my roots, meaning probably family, but we don't know, how can my roots help me do that or accomplish that? The river, what feelings can I let go? Or whatever at the moment. Is water under the bridge an English expression? I think so, right? That's also very obvious here, or very, you can use that in the meaning of this card. But what feelings can I let go of would be proper English. But whatever, we're not here to do proper English. Green fluids and red fluids. With green, I don't know, I'm thinking of absinthe. That could be, how can I let go of illusions? Like in the 7 of Cups. Then the red fluids, the red reminds me, of course, of the wine and the blood. So I'm thinking, on one hand, what would be good for me to sacrifice at the moment? What should I, get rid of, really not pay attention to anymore? Or what can give me more strength? It's where you take it. The bridge. Perhaps it's about connection. How can I make the connection between how I'm feeling now and where I want to be? That's the process. I go from what I see to what it means to me to making a question out of it. Then his back is turned. Well, very simply, could be, what am I not seeing? Or, I actually kind of hate these types of questions. It should be, well, hate is a strong word, but you know what I mean. What am I not seeing is always kind of vague to me. I'd rather make it, what am I ignoring at the moment? Or what am I not using that is within my reach and could actually probably help me? All of that is valid. So here we go. Let's see. Without all the extra options, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 question tarot spread right here from the Five of Cups. So I hope you see a little bit better what I mean with the cardception that I named it. Because now I'm actually using a number card from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck so that you can actually see how clear it can be. Okay, let me get the Marseille deck to compare the Five of Cups to. Here we go. Five of Cups. Now I must say, this tarot deck by Patrick Valenza, the Triomphe de la Luna, this is the paradoxical version, is a very expressive tarot deck. There are more faces, there are more eyes, there is just also, in general, more going on in the pip card than usual Marseille. But, that doesn't matter. Maybe this is that's actually good for this exercise because you have the moons, you have these little stars, there are all these extra dots. There is even a face here with a kind of like a tulip head. What do tulips mean? Well, to me, of course, I live in Holland. Then here, this little thing always looks like a birdhouse to me. This looks like a claw or a root kind of thing. There are many of these thorns. And do you see what I mean? There is already a lot going on in my mind that I can do with this type of symbolism. So I think, yes, it's possible to do it with a pip deck or Marseille deck, doesn't really matter. But ultimately, let me give you an example. In Marseille, it ultimately is going to be mostly about watching these plants around the cups or the coins or the swords or the wands and see how they look, how they act. The symbolism that we get from regular Marseille mostly comes from these flowers, these plants opening or closing or growing or wilting. Or you see here with the 5 how the 5th cup, the new cup, is still enclosed. And here it opens again, the plant opens. Here it doesn't, but you see there is a lot more in regular Marseille, again, a lot more symbolism where I think if you were to do this specific exercise with a pip deck or a Marseille deck, then you would often get the same kind of questions. Here, it's a different story. Look at that. 5 of Pentacles. There's snow, there's cold, there's these people, there is the church, there is the stained glass. There is so much to go on. I really wanted to give that example as well, just to show you that, yes, it's possible, but at the same time, I think there would really be a lot of the same questions. So let's move on. I now showed an example with my regular Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the Centennial. I'm going to show you this same exercise, but a little bit quicker now, with some of my other Rider-Waite-Smith decks. Just to show you, the fun has only just started. Let's see. Okay, here, 9 of Pumpkins in the Halloween Tarot. I've blackened the borders. 9 of Pumpkins. This usually, of course, would be the 9 of Pentacles in the regular Rider-Waite-Smith. Here we see a haunted house. We see some stars. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stars, just like the 9 of Pumpkins. What does that mean to you? There's an owl here, which is different. Maybe her pale face makes a difference. Maybe her beautiful orange coat and this type of dress. What does that look like? Kind of reminds me of a spider web, actually. There's the black cat, which I have never seen as bad luck, but I remember hearing, I don't know, a tale or something as a child that black cat is a witch that has passed on and is reincarnated. So that you can use in a tarot spread question. Here we have 4 of these spikes from the fence in the background, because this is her garden, obviously. Then here there's that very steep hill in the background and a little haunted house with some lit up windows. What else? Of course, obviously the pumpkins and the fact that it's a Halloween tarot. But let's not get too much into the theme, because then you get the same problem as with the Marseille decks, where you get the same questions over and over again. For instance, here, with my, what is this, Tarot of a Moon Garden, there are so many butterflies, so many ferns, so many, everything is at night, so many mushrooms and all that kind of stuff. I love the deck and I love the theme of the deck, but it may actually be too restricting for this exercise. And actually the Halloween Tarot, yes, maybe, but I kind of feel like there is more diversity still in what we are looking at. See, here the ocean, little fall leaves, the imps, of course. Let's focus on the 9 of Pumpkins. This is, of course, challenging. I'm thinking the 4 spikes in the background could be, 4 reminds me of the Emperor and stability, but also the spikes and the fact that it's a fence around your own garden. To me, it could be, where am I restricting myself too much at the moment? Then I'm thinking, with the owl, simply ask your tarot deck for some wisdom. Then the steep hill in the background. What are some challenges on my path that I should look at? Or perhaps losing control, because it's definitely not a straight path. Where am I losing control? Where do I need a little bit more control? The spider web could be, yeah, I don't know, that might be a little bit dark. What web am I entangled in at the moment? Or it could be very well, how can I build my own world considering the subject I have in mind? Yeah, really just riffing here, but you know what I mean? It can be whatever you want it to be. What also really very much helps is you find the symbols in the deck that jump out at you, or each and every one of them, when you feel like you have enough for a good full tarot spread, then maybe stop. What you can do is, of course, consult the internet or a book regarding the symbolism and what it means. So I am going to focus, because I'm interested in this part of her dress that to me looks so much like a spider web. I'm going to look up spider web. And I'm not going to use the internet for that, actually. I'm going to use my little book. The Secret Language of Symbols, or The Hidden Language of Symbols, Magic, Imagery, and Meaning. Okay? By David Fontana. Let's see. Spiderweb. So in Dutch that would be spinnenweb. Okay. Let's look at the index. Spin. So there's no spider web, but there is spider. Let's look that up. 157. I'm sure other people have a book like this as well in their collection. We are tarot lovers, so here we go. The spider. Oh, that's interesting. First of all, this title is confusing because it means lower beings, as in smaller and less important, but then the text explains that our ancestors definitely didn't see the smaller animals, the smaller beings, like the insects or something like that. They definitely did not see them as lower or lesser. Our ancestors believed that the smaller creatures also played an important role in our magical world, in the magical world around us. Our ancestors lived closer to nature and thought that every aspect of nature had meaning. People thought that everything that was made had consciousness. Here, the spider. So what it says about the spider. Let's look at the card, see if we can come up with a question with this information. For the Celts, the spider web. Oh, cool. So it is about the spider web. For the Celts, the spider web symbolized the web that keeps life together. That's beautiful. So the question could simply be, how can I keep myself together in this situation? Or what are some connections that I am not seeing at the moment? Or what are some deeper connections that I can make? For the Egyptians and the Greeks, the spider web means destiny. Wow, that's good. Christians saw the spider web as temptations of Satan. The spider itself stands for the... Yes, okay, so I had to look up that word just to make sure I was saying the right word. The spider itself symbolized the devouring Great Mother. Isn't that interesting? Here I have the Seven of Wands of the Mythic Tarot. Okay, so there are some people wearing these masks and protective masks. How can I protect myself more, or where am I not showing my true self? Where am I wearing a mask? What does the mask that I wear look like? Here, maybe even in the shoe style. What am I entangled with? What is holding me together, or what has a grip on me is also possible. Then here with all that fire and flame, where am I burning up? There's a crown here, 2 crowns. Could be, how can I be more balanced in actually being the boss over myself? Being the one in charge? Those are just the first few examples. 6 of Pentacles. Now this looks like a pyramid. Could be maybe something regarding secrets. Here we have a throne. What does that represent to you? Then back there's a bull. What does that mean to you? And all of these details in the background with the grapevines. And the fact that it's not actual grapevines, but it's tapestries. Then also the purple could be about royalty or spirituality, or a type of what are you proud of kind of thing. You know what? Let's actually try with the Tarot of a Moon Garden. 2 of Staffs. Okay, so there's a unicorn there. I knew that this deck was possible as well. Unicorn. How can I be more of a unicorn? More of a magical being that is an individual. This plant actually kind of looks like a nipple. What does that mean? Like, where do I need more nurturing, or where could I be more nurturing? Quite a lot of different things than the regular Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Okay, I know this was a little bit of a strange video, but I just really wanted to show you how helpful it can be, at the same time difficult, but I believe all of us tarot lovers like a challenge. And so still, I believe that this method is helpful to get you to, like I said, analyze yourself by the questions you come up with, analyze yourself obviously in the tarot reading that you get out of the spread that you just made, and also you get a little bit closer to a core of the card, a meaning of the card that is very different than anything else that I've seen. So I really truly hope that this is helpful. And like I said, this is just the next day, so I haven't actually had time to do it. But like I said, I actually am going to make some of my own personal tarot spreads using this method. And please share, let me know if this at all sounded interesting to you, and obviously if you're going to do it, and if you did it, how was that experience for you? I'm really curious. Okay, I think that's it. Everyone have a great evening, and I will see you the next time.